Hi and welcome to my video. Here's a recipe for kadhi, which is a thick gravy made from besan or chickpea flour and vegetable pakode. This recipe was requested by Aisha. Aisha, thank you so much. This is one of my favorites. I crave it all the time, and if you're watching, I sincerely hope that you like my rendition of Punjabi kadhi. Now this recipe is really made in two parts. So for the pakode, you are going to need 1/4 cup to 1/3 of a cup of besan or chickpea flour, 1/3 of a cup to 1/2 of a cup of maida or all-purpose flour, approximately 1 cup of finely chopped veggies. I'm using 1/3 cup each of finely chopped onion, cauliflower, and potato, plus some chili pepper, fresh coriander, and 1 teaspoon of whole cumin seeds. In addition, you will need 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric powder, some water, and the amount will vary depending on the consistency of your pakode batter, salt to taste, and some oil for frying. As for the gravy, you will need 2 teaspoons of canola oil or any other vegetable oil of your choice, 1/3 of a cup of sliced onion. I'm using both red and white, but it really doesn't matter, 1 teaspoon of whole black mustard seeds, 3 to 4 curry leaves, 1 bay leaf, 2 dried red chili peppers, 1/3 of a cup of besan or chickpea flour, 1 cup of sour yogurt with any percentage fat. And my friends, sour yogurt is not spoilt yogurt. It's yogurt that has been setting for longer than it normally would. If you don't have access to this, don't worry about it. Just use regular yogurt. Your kadhi will still be scrumptious. You'll also need 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, approximately 2 cups of H2O, and salt to taste. I really like to get the pakode out of the way first, so in a mixing bowl, combine the veggies with besan, maida, and water until a thick batter is formed. Now here comes the part where I say that cooking is not always an exact science, so I can't tell you exactly how much of each ingredient I used, but I do use slightly more maida than besan, and I add the water very sparingly. You'll also have to add 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric powder to give your pakode a beautiful orangey yellow color, as well as salt according to taste. The batter should definitely be on the thicker side, but not too dry. It should hold itself. When it's time to fry, heat the oil on medium. This setting may depend on your stove, but I usually add a drop of batter into the oil and then wait for it to sizzle. After that, I start frying my pakode. And I try not to make them too large because they are going to swell once they're submerged into the gravy. If you're still not sure whether you have the right temperature, just test the first few pakode. If they're dark on the outside and raw on the inside, then you have to turn down the heat and allow them to cook for longer. Look for a spongy and light texture inside and give it a taste to check for the salt and to see whether the veggies are fully cooked. Each of my pakode cooked for approximately 1.5 minutes on each side. As you can see, the 3 pakode that were on my plate in the previous shot have fallen victim to snacking. This is a completely inevitable phenomenon and you should be prepared for it, so just make some extra pakode. Now when they're done frying, remove them from the oil using a strainer and lay them to rest on a lined plate. That will catch any excess oil. My batter was able to make 17 pakode. I tested 2, my husband snacked on 3, and at the end of the day I was left with 12, which is more than enough for this amount of kadhi. And now for the gravy. My trick for a silky smooth gravy is to blend the yogurt, besan, and turmeric together in an austerizer or processor. I have tried other methods, but I've always been left with lumps in my kadhi, and there's nothing worse than a lumpy kadhi. So I feel like blending the ingredients together really is a foolproof method. Now heat up the oil on medium-high and then add the whole spices to the hot oil. Allow the bay leaf, red chilies, and mustard seeds to release their aromas. Keep the spices moving, and after a minute or so, add the sliced onions. Sauté them until they are brown in color. Now turn down the heat and slowly add the yogurt mixture while stirring gently. Add water to the yogurt mixture, and I started out with about 1.5 cups. Keep stirring and bring it up to a gentle boil on medium-low heat. Adding more water is something you can do if you feel like the gravy is too thick. But because there's besan in this gravy, it will get thicker than it is when you initially add the water. So it's best to add it slowly, that way you have the option of being able to thin it if you need to. Cover up the gravy and allow it to continue boiling until it has reached the desired thickness. And this is a good time to adjust the salt. Now once you feel that it has reached your desired thickness, you can go ahead and add the pakode. Try to accommodate as many as you wish, keeping in mind that they will swell as they absorb some of the gravy. And once you've added them, cover this up and just switch it off. I would say give it 5 minutes before you're ready to serve, and once you do, this can be enjoyed on a bed of plain rice or jeera rice, and leftovers are great with lacha paratha. Now this recipe will serve approximately 4 to 6 people. Here are some variations. Everybody has their own way of making kadhi, and there's no right or wrong method, so feel free to change this in any way that's comfortable for you. You can add more or less vegetables into the pakode, you can add more whole spices into the gravy, you can omit the onions in the pakode and gravy if you're Jain and add a little hing or asafoetida instead. For more recipes, please check out my blog at www.aneelamaharaj.com and subscribe to this channel where I try to post recipes as often as possible. I know it's been very sketchy lately, and I do apologize for that. But thank you for watching. Bye!